swelling in the scrotum and penis for the past 1 month. The other complaint is straining while voiding for the past 2 years. Go for next slide. KKC, are you online?
Hello?
Shubham, are you online? Okay.
You are presenting and you are also discussing, Karnakar?
I will discuss, sir. I think they didn't join yet, sir. I will discuss, sir. No problem.
And you got the slides with you. Let's go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I need to get want more information on the swelling and the penis and the scrotal region, sir.
Yeah, you can tell us what information.
What information do you want?
Sir, I want to know whether it is an insidious in onset or sudden in onset of swelling in the scrotum.
1 month then?
Differential diagnosis.
1 month?
Yes, sir. Whether in 1 month he has noticed the swelling gradually increasing in size, whether it is decreasing in size during the other period of day, or is constantly the same size of swelling all over the day. That is what information I want to know about the swelling in the scrotum.
That might come in the history of presenting complaint, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything about these complaints?
Of trauma recently to the scrotal region, that also I need to know, sir.
Okay.
And
a suggestion to all of you, don't put things like religion unless it is relevant to the diagnosis.
I was going to say that.
And the swelling in the scrotum, whether it is associated with pain or not,
Yeah,
that is also.
Let's move on to the next slide.
Yes,
you might find the information there.
He's apparently all right 1 month back. He noticed swelling in both scrotal sacs and penis during bath, and it is diffuse over the both scrotum and penile region and not associated with pain. And he gave no history of discharge from the skin or the scrotal region. And the size got increased very mild in the last 1 month. And no aggravating or relieving factors related to the size of the swelling.
What do you think this is?
Sir, given this history of swelling only in the scrotum and the penis, I would like to think any inflammatory etiology at the first.
No pain.
No pain at all, as Prabhu says, no pain.
Sir, it can be an hernia, which is bilateral.
Why should there be penile swelling?
And I want to know the edema which is present anywhere else in the body.
Karnakar, just look at the history. He has 2 years history of straining to pass urine. For the past 1 month, he has developed a scrotal and penile swelling. Either the two are connected or they are unconnected. If they are connected, what could it be? If they are not connected, what could it be?
Sir, if they are related, I would like to have benign etiology also in my differential as well as the malignancy.
No. You have to tell us what diagnosis.
Sir, it can be a stricture of the urethra, which may have.
Why will stricture is difficulty in passing. If there is swelling, what is the diagnosis? In a patient with stricture, if he develops a swelling in the penis and the scrotum, what would the diagnosis be?
It can be urethroputeinous fistula, sir.
There's no fistula there.
There's no fistula.
There's no fistula.
It can be communicating, may not be having a fistula, sir, but a sinus.
See, you would have seen so many of these cases, right?
Yes,
every urology resident will see at least 2 or 3 of these during his residency. What is it in strictures that causes a sudden appearance of penile and scrotal swelling?
The extravasation of the urine, sir.
Yeah, extravasation of urine. right? It could be spontaneous extravasation of urine, which has given rise to this. Anything to support this diagnosis?
He had diffuse swelling over the penile region also.
Yeah, the presence of a penile swelling with scrotal swelling.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us put this away for the time being. It's not stricture, it's not that, it's not this. And the two are unconnected. What could this be?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, I didn't hear, sir.
Code blue IQ bed number 1. Code.
See, let us say we don't have a stricture, he doesn't have any voiding symptoms. He's developed this gradually increasing over the past month, and it's mostly painless.
He had voiding symptoms for the past 2 years, he mentioned.
Now, I'm saying let us assume he
Yes, sir.
didn't have.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Let us assume he didn't have.
Any other positive history I want, sir, whether it is an edema which is generalized, involving the pedal edema also and lower limb edema.
Don't go
Sir.
away. See, this is a genital edema, penile and scrotal. What are the causes of genital edema?
Sir, lymphatic obstruction, I would like to think in
Due to,
malignancy, sir.
okay, what else?
And any retroperitoneal lesion causing obstruction to the
Something common, man, that is seen in this country.
filariasis, sir.
Yeah, then,
But
You're going to malignancy as the first cause.
see, we can stretch it a little and accept your malignancy perhaps with a pinch of salt or half a spoon. But in this country, filariasis has to come in the diagnosis.
no, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Now, he doesn't have fever, he doesn't have any other manifestations of filariasis. No malignancy, no weight loss, no systemic symptoms, everything is fine. What else could it be?
Could it be a trauma following an intercourse also, sir? I want to also.
No history of trauma, no penile fracture, no penile deformity. Don't look for things which are not there because I specifically said all that is not there. He was having a bath when he noticed it.
Could be an urinary tract infection with epidermal orchitis, sir, which can cause swelling in both the scrotum.
Why? No pain, no fever, no tenderness. Can it be a condition
Sir,
not related to the genitourinary system, but manifesting in the penis and scrotum?
Can it have association with pedal edema?
pedal edema, sir.
Yeah, pedal edema, not penile edema. Pedal. Have you seen patients? Sometimes you get calls in the medical wards. Come and
Yes, sir.
catheterize. Totally painless swelling.
Yes, sir. Can be an hypoproteinemia, which can cause diffuse swelling in the scrotum and the penile region, which usually see in the medical wards.
Yeah. Dr. Mohan is asking you generally what are the conditions which are where suddenly you notice like this, painless. Of course, this patient while taking a bath felt it. If he was the other case, then he would have been in the hospital, Sometimes all these fellows with hypoproteinemia, but even then, they may not be aware of it. And this happens slowly over time.
So can be in congestive cardiac failure, sir, chronic kidney disease with hypoproteinemia.
See, no, again, don't run away.
Sir,
Stay with congestive cardiac failure, stay with chronic kidney disease, stay with hyperproteinemia. Does he have any features of congestive cardiac failure in the symptomatology?
Till now, I didn't get any symptoms. So he should have it.
No, so we may not have, right?
Yes.
Reasonable to think it doesn't have. Any features of chronic kidney disease? At least so far, no. Let us
So
see,
far.
maybe something will come up later.
What's the other condition that men usually discover while they have a bath? Painless will. Suddenly while
Hernia.
having a bath, they discover.
Inguinal hernia, sir.
While they're having a bath, something they discover, and then they come to the doctor after that. When I had a bath, I felt this swelling in my scrotum. Isn't it a common way by which people present with tumors in the testis? Huh? That is why you are asked to do self-examination, isn't it? Like self-examination of the breast. Patients who have got tumors in the testicle and are likely to get in the other one, they are advised to do self-examination. And patients who do present sometimes with testicular tumors say that when they are having a bath, they felt this little swelling in the thing.
Yes, sir.
What's the other swelling that they feel when they're having a bath? All in the scrotum only, apart from testicular tumors. Don't you see patients coming and telling you, sir, something is there in the scrotum?
Inguinal hernia, sir.
No, we finished hernia.
Anything else? Is there only the testis in the scrotum?
Spermatic cord varicocele, sir.
No, something else. Is there another structure sitting above the testicle?
Epididymal cyst, sir.
Yeah. Never noticed. Suddenly you feel, oh, okay, it's there. And then they come running to the doctor. Only last week I had a patient like that. Only last week he came before this lockdown business. So they come like this. Epididymal swelling, testicular swelling. Of course, we are digressing from the case at hand, but this is how sometimes in the exam,
Yes, sir.
the questioning can happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be focused on the case. They just examiner wants to know whether you're thinking on your feet or whether you are, you have a broader perspective of things. So what shall we take the next slide?
Yeah, we'll take the next slide. We'll come back to this discussion
Yes.
by the end meeting.
Yes.
Shubham, are you online?
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah. You are at the history of presenting illness. You can
Yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, sir, for being late. Sir.
Yeah, no problem. I'm discussing. You can proceed.
Complain of straining to void since 2 years. The straining is associated with other voiding and storage symptoms, which have gradually worsened over the last 2 years. His IPSS score at the time of presentation are frequency 2 in the day 6 to 7 times, in the night 4 to 5 times, urgency 1, nocturia 3, incomplete emptying 3, intermittency 3, and straining 3. The total IPSS score is 15. And there is no history of retention of urine, no history of incontinence, no history of hematuria, no history of dysuria, and there is no history of traumatic catheterization.
What is this IPSS score, man? An indication of? Bhatnagar, what is this IPSS score an indication of?
So to assess the severity of the lower tract symptoms, sir, the patient, and for the follow-up also can assess whether improvement of symptoms are there.
What do you mean by severity?
So it is a bothersome symptoms or not, whether the symptoms are bothersome to the patient or not. Accordingly, they have graded it.
Is there any connection between the IPSS score and obstruction? Bladder outlet obstruction? Is there any connection?
Not a confirmative, sir, but I can assess the severity of the symptoms based upon the scoring what he said. I can.
No, while the connection is not as a straight line, there is. I mean, the higher the score, the more likely it is that this patient will have, especially if the scoring indices are more in favor of an obstructive symptom and lesser in terms of a storage symptom. Then you could probably say, all right, maybe he's got more of obstructive symptom. For example, in this particular thing, if the urgency and nocturia were not there.
Yeah, yes, and
And
it's
the training and everything would be 5, then you would have, significant obstruction. So, indirectly, but yes.
Taking each component, we can assess.
Yes, that's right. Correct.
Yes, sir.
But generally speaking, it's bother index.
Yes, sir. So the positive history till now I had is only the moderate severity of symptoms, fluid tract symptoms, with a combination of both storage and voiding set, and with the swelling in the scrotum and the penile region. Then I would like to go further details into the history. Are there any associated?
Karnakar, you will do better
Sir.
if you say predominance of voiding symptoms with a few storage symptoms. That will tell the examiner that you're thinking that, this could be obstruction.
Yes, sir.
Rather than simply saying combination of storage and voiding symptoms, which gives them equal weightage. You have 3 for straining, 3 for intermittency, 3 for incomplete emptying. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you able to make a diagnosis at this stage?
No, sir. At this point of time, I could not
You don't know.
make any
So
diagnosis.
you want a little more information,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
including the rest of his medical history.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay, let's move on.
Sir, there is no history of fever with chills, no history of trauma, no history of instrumentation, and there is no history of increase or decrease in size of swelling with change of posture and cough impulse, no history of swelling elsewhere in the body, no history of change in bowel habits or any bleeding for rectum, no history of ulcer, abscess in perineal region, and no history of any perurethral discharge.
Your negative history has come down compared to the last slide, last time when you presented. It was a full slide.
Yes, sir.
Good, Shubham. Way to go.
Yes, sir.
Since one thing I can rule out is may or may not be an inguinal hernia, sir, since there is no increase of size or a decrease in range of posture, no cough impulse.
May or may not be?
It's inguinal hernia. Still, I can't rule out, sir, before examination, but according to the history wise, unlikely to be an inguinal hernia.
Why hernia can remain at the same size for
Yes,
a
sir.
considerable period of time, especially if there are additions.
Yes.
What is it that makes you think this is not hernia?
What's the typical description in a hernia? Where is the swelling?
The inguinal
Inguinal, so is it penile?
Okay, I suggest you don't bring hernia into the discussion anymore.
Okay.
Unnecessarily, you'll be getting into uncharted territories, leaving you vulnerable to examiners. Seriously, examiners will think if you talk about hernia that you don't know urology.
I would like to know any other positive history, like sir, pertaining to these symptoms. I would like to keep my first differential as malignancy.
No, wait. What history do you want? You can't say any other positive history. Then it will become like Shubham's slide last time.
History of back pain, sir, and especially the pain in the lumbar region.
Why?
And any history of
Why back pain?
I am thinking in line of an metastatic carcinoma of prostate, since the predominant voiding LUTS is swelling in the scrotum and penile regions.
So you think the metastasis have given rise to the swelling? Okay.
My differential first would be that.
Where is the metastasis to give rise to scrotal swelling?
superficial and
Huh?
sir.
Where is it? How does this happen? This swelling in the scrotum and is due to metastasis where?
So it is to the external group of lymph nodes, pelvic group of lymph nodes, sir. Predominantly, I would like to.
Okay, Karnakar,
Okay.
if you want to use this line, then you must trace the lymphatic pathway and say it is because of this that there is edema. So trace the lymphatic pathway, which could give rise to edema
Yes,
in the scrotum.
weight loss.
Something is there, there is
The positive thing is there. I want to know.
Sorry?
nothing will be hidden from your this thing. Remember, the one other thing, general surgery cases are not kept in urology exam. Don't go into that territory.
The converse is true, but not this other way.
Yes. Shubham, any other positive history?
No, you tell me, wait, let's stay with this.
Sir.
If it is CA prostate
Sir.
causing this, why has this happened? Some lymphatic obstructions somewhere, right? So
Yes.
can you trace the lymphatic path and say, okay, it's because of obstruction here?
Yes, sir. It can be the pelvic lymph node enlargement causing the.
Why should it cause scrotal and penile edema?
It could be retrograde, sir, blocking the lymphatics of the deep inguinal group of lymph nodes, which always drain into the pelvic group of lymph nodes, no, sir. So retrograde obstruction can cause swelling.
No, so you have to explain the whole path.
Sir,
Right?
external and internal group of lymph nodes would be the first draining, predominant site of draining in the prostatic malignancy.
Okay, now over the years, how many cases, this is common to everybody, how many cases have you seen of CA prostate presenting with penile and scrotal edema?
Sir, only one case I have seen, sir.
So one swallow, what's that? One swallow doesn't make summer. Yeah, can't use it in the exam, Karnakar. Okay, let's move on. We'll come to some of these discussions towards the end.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on. So you still don't have a differential diagnosis.
No, sir.
Fair enough, nothing wrong with that. Sometimes the diagnosis of differentials might come much later. Yeah.
The patient is known diabetic since 8 years and hypertensive since 3 months and on regular medication for the same. The bowel habits is normal, not addicted to any substance abuse. Patient is not sexually active and there is no family history of any similar complaints.
Shubham,
Yes.
either not addicted to any substance or is not a substance abuser. Addicted to substance abuse looks a little odd, to say the least.
Okay.
Okay.
No family history in similar complaint. You are thinking of what? Wife, children?
Sir,
Unnecessary things to be avoided.
This is, Prabhu, I agree with you. This history taking and putting all this down takes away a lot of, takes away the message from the main case, you know, no this, no, everything. I don't know. It's quite common now. I think in the exams, this goes on, and so therefore this presentation is with a lot of negatives.
A
I don't know
smart
what to do
resident
about
will
it.
manage to put up what
What is
leads to the
relevant?
diagnosis.
Yes.
So with this history, I would like to go at this examination, sir, since I didn't have any other differentials till now with this history. I would like to examine the patients.
Yeah, you simply say that since all this is negative, I want to examine the patient. Fair enough.
Proceed.
the patient is conscious, cooperative, well-oriented, time-placing person. Panofsky score is 100%. All the vitals are normal, sir, with pulse 82 per minute and blood pressure 130 by 86 mmHg in right arm supine position. Lymph node of size 1 into 1 centimeter in the left inguinal region, round in shape, firm in consistency, mobile and non-tender, with normal skin color and with no discharging sinus present. Sir, on the genital examination,
Shubham,
all of
that is described differently with normal skin overlying it.
okay.
We say discharging sinus only if it is present. If it is absent, we say skin over the lymph node normal.
Normal. When you say normal, it's understandable. There's no sinus there.
Okay. Sir. The genital examination, there was no any abnormality detected. All the findings were normal.
The penile shaft normal and then say it is.
No, sir. But swelling was present, sir, over the scrotum.
Yeah. So you cannot write that way. You should write the diffuse swelling over. You write the positive things. Diffuse swelling of the scrotum and present.
See, and
Skin
when
is
you
not-
come to examination, it is inspection, palpation, where necessary, percussion and auscultation. Okay, you just can't say swelling present. You have to characterize the swelling.
Okay. Sir.
That is where you can help your candidate.
Yes.
Yeah, how was the swelling?
Sir, swelling, sir, it was diffuse, sir, and there was soft in consistency, sir, and there was no any there is no any pitting. It was not pitting in nature, sir,
No pity?
And-
Okay.
and no, sir, no non-tender, firm soft inconsistencies.
Okay. Was there a definite demarcation between the
No,
swelling
no.
and normal tissues?
No, sir, it was diffuse. There was no definite demarcation.
No demarcation. Okay. Yes, Karunakar, over to you.
Is present examination finding the lymph node of 1 centimeter in the left inguinal region. So,
You tell us what you think. We've covered that. Do you have a diagnosis or are you still in need of more information?
I need more information, especially I need to.
You have to come closer to the mic. We can't hear you.
Yes, sir. I need still information, sir. I'm not happy with this examination. I want to proceed with digital rectal examination also, sir.
Okay.
Since my first diagnosis.
You want to ask him any question about this diffuse swelling over the scrotum and penis? You want to ask him anything more specific?
That's what, whether it is confined only to the scrotal and penile region or extending into the suprapubic extent as well. But he said that it
All
is
right.
diffuse.
Anything else? Sometimes in breast cancer, they use a phrase. The breast cancer also, they have this diffuse swelling on the skin and the same thing can happen here.
Yes, sir. It's a
This is the
lymphedema.
term
whether
that is
POD or-
used. Huh?
You
POD
heard
or
of
appearance.
Podarange.
Okay.
Bird orange appearance will look
So this is diffuse swelling. You want to ask him whether that skin looks edematous. It's diffuse swelling for the patient and very just but is that skin looking? You can make out an edematous skin from a skin which is stretched over it,
Yes, sir.
isn't it? It may be stretched. It may be stretched and edematous. It may be edematous. That's all.
It's rugosity of
Yes, it is maintained.
It's important to know whether it's actually edematous at all or not,
Yes, sir.
because you've got another positive finding. And what is that?
And lymph node in the
Yeah,
inguinal
you've got a lymph node. You've got a 1 centimeter lymph node and you've got this. So, you got to begin to think, are they all connected? Is there anything else happening here? That's what you've got to find.
Shubham, we have digital rectal examination findings.
Yeah, I have. First, the systemic examination for abdomen.
No, first give him digital rectal examination.
Okay.
Not there, Shibam?
After.
Hey, you should put it in proper order. How can you put it after? You finish abdominal
Must have
examination,
mistaken.
you go to digital rectal examination.
Okay. DRE done in the left lateral position. The findings are the positive finding is non-tender, moderately enlarged, grade 2 prostatomegaly with hard consistency and obliterated median sulcus, rectal mucosa mobile over the prostate with no any induration felt in the rectal mucosa. And rest other findings, there is no any visual external anal tag or hemorrhoids, anal tone normal, perineal sensation present, bulbocavernosus reflex present, and the returning examining finger were non-blood stained.
Shubham, why did you do it in left lateral position?
Sir, actually we in left lateral position we come to know more about the prostate findings. We are more comfortable with the prostate examination in left lateral.
Which is the best position for palpating the prostate?
Sir, it is knee elbow.
Right. Okay. So if you suspect prostatic disease, other than assessing size, you want to know other features of the prostate, best to do it in knee elbow position.
What is it also called? Apart from knee elbow, there's another position which is a little bit more comfortable. I mean, you have an older man getting onto his knees and bending over, a bit of a drama, isn't it? Getting onto the bed. There's another position. Have you heard of it?
Jackknife.
No. Jackknife is very different. Have you heard of the pick-up position?
No.
As if somebody is picking something from the ground.
So, yeah, you just ask the
Leans
patient
forward.
to lean over the table, pull his pants down, lean over the table, and this way he will relax, okay? And then when he leans over the table, the bottom comes up and comes protruding out. And then you sit down and get your eye level to the level of his anal orifice, and then you will be able to nicely examine the prostate very comfortably. And this position is also very useful when you want to collect prostatic secretions for examination. Because you can give him that sterile cup, he'll put it against, he'll have it close to his penis without touching his penis. And while you massage, you will be able to express the secretion in that sterile container. So it's a very useful position.
Sir,
Okay, carry on. Karnagar.
sir. Sir, the positive finding here is an grade 2 hard prostate. Rectal mucosa is free. Considering it in my putting into favor of my diagnosis, I would like to still
Never say that.
Sir.
Just say this favors a diagnosis of carcinoma prostate.
Yes, sir.
Okay, don't say putting it in favor of my diagnosis. You're antagonizing the other people straight away. Say, you didn't make the diagnosis, I'm making it.
What are the other conditions which give rise to hard prostate on rectal exam?
Sir, chronic prostatitis, sir. Chronic prostatitis, sir. Tuberculosis.
Hard prostate.
Tuberculosis prostate, sir.
Tuberculosis has a very characteristic consistency. It's called a brawny prostate. It's not hard. It's brawny.
Have you felt calculus prostate?
Prostatic
Have you
calculus.
yeah. Calcification in the prostate due to calcification and stone in the prostate due to metabolic conditions like ochronosis can give rise to very, very hard prostate. Same way, prostatic calculi can feel very hard. Apart from prostatic cancer.
Yes, sir.
Now, sometimes if you do a rectal examination, a patient who's already had a TURP, you may then find that the prostate could be hard, and It's been claimed to be due to the effect of the diathermy in use on the prostate, diathermy and the coagulation that takes place. Feel a prostate next time you had done a TURP and the patient comes back for review after 6 months. Just put your finger inside and see how the prostate feels.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sir, this DRE findings, is it okay to stop at this level, or should I tell the extent laterally also, since I am considering it as a metastatic?
You have to know what is the extent. They've only said here you don't know whether the prostate is, whether this swelling is confined only to the prostate or is that extending to the side walls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's
There
what.
should be some degree of clinical T staging on this rectal exam.
You have to mention the lateral sulci. You also have to mention whether you could go above the prostate and
Above the
there is any
prostate, yes, sir.
induration there.
Okay, sir. Sir, now I would like to I need an ultrasound abdomen and pelvis, sir.
No, why you got a prostate which is hard? What do you want next?
Sir, that's what, sir. I need an ultrasound abdomen prostate along
Why?
with, sir, to check if it is, since it is an advanced disease, I would like to load in a
That
hydronephrosis.
comes later. You don't even know what the disease is.
Always know that the blood rather than jumping to one CT or MRI.
Ultrasound and urine.
No, you don't even know what the disease is. If you want to give focused answers,
Sir,
you should be telling the examiners, along with the other routine investigations, I want to do this to get a diagnosis. And what is that? This which will give you a diagnosis.
sir, blood test, I will ask for an serum.
Karnakar,
Sir?
all of them are not going to give you diagnosis. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Even if you do PSA and PSA is 800, you still don't have a diagnosis.
Yes, sir. I would like to ask
What
for
is it which will give you a diagnosis?
prostatic biopsy, sir.
Therefore, your answer at this juncture will be, along with the routine investigations, I will prepare for a prostatic biopsy.
Yes,
If
sir.
the examiners are interested in all the other routine investigations, they'll ask you. But quite likely, they may not ask you. In which case, you will go straight to the diagnosis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyway, they must have done some investigations. Let's see what they are.
Sir, on blood investigations, hemoglobin is 12.2, total count 7,800 cells per cubic mm, and neutrophils 71, lymphocyte 21, monocytes 6, and eosinophil 2. Blood urea nitrogen 64.5 milligram per dl. Creatinine was 1.41 milligram per dl. Serum bilirubin and SGOT PT were normal. Serum electrolytes, the potassium was little high, 5.1.
Shubham, what would be the most significant liver function test result for you? Most important.
Alkaline phosphatase.
And? Agreed, alkaline phosphatase. And he's got edema. For anybody
Yeah,
with
serum
edema, we
protein.
want to know his
Serum
proteins.
protein.
Yeah.
Albumin.
So
That-
don't abbreviate all this, okay?
Okay.
Put in all that.
Sir, he had renal dysfunction with high sugar, uncontrolled sugars, sir. HbA1c of 9.7, PSA of more than 200, sir.
200. Okay.
So it's an
So it's still not anything.
yes. Sir, I will confirm my diagnosis. Yes, sir.
This is your finding. So what do you do next? Do you want further investigation? Do you want to straight away go into management?
I would like to get an urine examination. I want urine examination also, sir.
For
on
what?
the culture to rule out any urinary tract infection, sir.
Why
Since
do you
I
think
wa-
there is urinary tract infection?
And I also need to plan a biopsy, sir. For
Okay,
that also,
I'll leave it there.
sir.
Um, you want to mention it? You mention it, fine. What else? Anything else?
Sir, I still rather get an ultrasound abdomen, sir, since there is an rise period to check for hydronephrosis, sir.
And then after that,
Okay.
you'll do one more test, is it?
No, sir. I will ask for a urine culture ultrasound and proceed with an finger guided prostatic biopsy, sir.
You don't want to find out as to what is happening to this fellow's body. I understand that you want to do a biopsy. There's no doubt about the fact. Nobody will say that you don't want to. But he has got edema of the scrotum. He's got swelling of the penis and scrotum. He's got one lymph node in the groin. Don't you want to know and make an assessment? Will the ultrasound tell you all this?
So at the same time, I would like to check for the deep
What
vein.
is this preference for ultrasound? We all understand that the ultrasound is a very, very, very valuable investigation. But I mean, you will do an ultrasound and then you will proceed to the next. You want something to get on with it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to stage this fellow? He's got a PSA of 200. Or are you of the opinion that nothing can be done for this fellow? Anyway, his goose is cooked, to give him something and let him go home. Is that how you feel about it? Or
No, sir. No.
not in today's world?
Yes,
Not
sir.
in today's world. In
Yes,
today's
sir.
world, you might have that opinion to yourself, but
You'll get your pants chewed off.
So be careful. I mean, you need to make an assessment of what is happening to this patient.
Yes, sir.
200 nanogram PSA.
Ultrasound, sir. Basically, I also want ultrasound because I want to do a Doppler also, since he didn't give any history of limb swelling, sir. But
See,
still, I
can
would
you
like
do
to
all this, get all this information and the information you need about staging
Yes, sir.
with one investigation?
Yes, I can get, sir.
Then why do you want to do 10 investigations?
Okay, sir.
What is that one investigation you want to do?
You can get a PSMA PET scan, sir.
PSMA
It's a
PET
PET
scan.
scan.
Anything better than that?
Better, sir.
I think we need to look at this issue of PSMA PET scan and when do you want to do it for a specific situation? I think because it's now freely available, it's like this CT scan for COVID. Everybody is doing it. Whether you like it or not, it's being done. Same way, PSMA PET is also being done at the drop of a hat. When the fellow sneezes, he has a PSMA PET scan done. So you must know exactly what you're trying to achieve by doing a PSMA PET.
Sir, I would like to know the metastatic status of the metastatic.
Don't you want to know about the rest of the body? Don't you want to know about, you said you want to know about blood flow. Don't you want to know that? Don't you want to know about the presence or absence of hydronephrosis? Will a PSMA PET scan give you all this?
Yes, sir, but I can stage better with the one investigation.
Forget it. See, again and again, you're getting back to that.
Sir.
If it is between knowing whether a lymph node is significant or not,
Sir.
the PET might help. But with PSA 200, with edema in the scrotum, expected widespread disease, which is that investigation which will give you a lot of information at one go, including things not related to the CA prostate. You remember you yourself asked for it. Creatinine is elevated. You want to know what's happening to the kidneys. You say he could be having vascular disease. So you want to know how the blood vessels are, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, then I'll ask for an MRI abdominal pelvis with screening of the spine, sir. That will give the information of whatever I needed, sir.
That will give you most of the information.
Everything it will give you MRI. Huh?
Yes, sir.
See, you won't be wrong if you give this answer. You can justify saying all this information I get, So a PSMA PET scan will not give me all this information.
Yes,
So
sir.
I want to do this. In fact, I think we should seriously revisit the way we are doing PSMA PET scans.
Well, that's exactly what I said. I think in the next class, just for about 10 minutes, somebody make a brief presentation on the status of PSMA PET. When do you actually begin to do it, and what are you aiming at? Huh?
Sure, sir.
You remember Venki made a beautiful
Yes,
presentation.
yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir has been there. Yes,
You just borrow his slides.
Slides and
Yes,
run
sir.
over it.
yes,
No,
sir.
no, yeah. I mean, it was presented at the South Zone meeting, isn't it?
No, it was presented here before that.
No. Yes. Venki made a presentation also for South Zone, if I'm not
Also at
mistaken.
South Zone,
Yeah,
he made it here.
yeah.
in the class.
He's got everything there. So just have to go through that, and you may have to add something more if necessary, because there has been some new evidence as far as PSMA PET is concerned. So,
Yes.
So Prabhu, you can tell Manish also next week, maybe Karnakar can discuss PSMA PET scan.
Okay.
just, it's important to revisit some of these things again and again. Otherwise, we tend to get carried away and use these investigations without any meaning at all.
And the patient pays quite a heavy sum.
It
For all
is.
this.
Anyway.
Okay, let's see what they've done.
Yes.
Shubha, move on, please.
Sir, in the urine routine examination, and the color is pale yellow, appearance turbid, pH is acidic 6.5, specific gravity 1.010, and all sugar, bile salts, and pigments and albumin negative. In the microscopic examination, first cells were 10 to 12, RBC 3 to 4, epithelial cells 4 to 5, bacteria present, but there was no any cast or crystal. And in the urine culture, plenty of pus cells were there with no bacteria seen, no growth after 3 days of incubation.
There's another small spanner in the works here. Anyway, no, you wait for this. Let Dr. Karnakar tell us what he wants to do.
Sir, I would start him on antibiotic prophylaxis 24 hours prior, and I would like to go with an finger guide biopsy. Should be okay with me, sir, but it's not wrong to go with this trust guided biopsy, sir. I'm okay with that.
Is it not wrong or is it better?
Trust guided biopsy is always better, sir.
You see, you're talking here of staging the tumor, making therapeutic decisions. So you'd want to do a systematic trust-guided biopsy so
Yes,
that you get more tissue. What are the things you want to know on the biopsy?
Sir, I need, first of all, it is malignancy. And second thing is I need to have an Gleason scoring, sir. The grade of Gleason.
Do you need to know the number of cores? Do you need to know the percentage of core involved?
Core involved with malignancy and the lymphovascular invasion if present and the Gleason scoring system, sir. And perineural
Not
invasion.
Gleason scoring system. You want to know the Gleason score. Overall Gleason score. Okay.
Will you do a lymph node biopsy or a prostate biopsy in this patient? Karnakar,
Sir,
he's got a lymph node. Why do you want to stick a needle into his backside? Get the problem with infection and sepsis. Just take out the lymph node.
yes, sir, I can do lymph node biopsy also, but I still rather do only prostate
Why?
biopsy.
Why?
Gleason, sir. Gleason score, I may not have proper lymph node biopsy if I get.
See, more importantly, that lymph node might turn out to be negative.
Yes, sir, maybe.
It is mobile, it is firm, it is non-tender. There's nothing to suggest that it's a metastatic lymph node. Size is less than 1 centimeter.
It's in the inguinal region.
Yes, sir.
So you have to
I get a better Gleason grading. It is better.
No, it's got nothing to do with Gleason's grading. Wait, Karnakar.
Sir.
Understand what is being said and what Dr. Ganesh said. You see, that lymph node, we don't even know whether it is metastatic or not.
Correct. Yes,
All characteristics are that it's a non-metastatic lymph node.
yes, sir.
So why would you want to do a biopsy on that when a more definitive biopsy of the prostate will give you the information you seek.
Yes, I understood. Yes, sir.
So that's how you justify.
Yes.
You don't agree with the examiner for everything.
Will you do a sextant biopsy or will you do a 12-core biopsy for this man?
Sir, I would like to do 4 cores, sir. 2 from the right lobe and 2 from the left lobe should be sufficient for me. Sir. No, it's not a disc complex. Ideally, it is a 12-core biopsy.
When do they do ideally a 12-core biopsy? Everybody does a 12-core biopsy, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What is the logic of a 12-core biopsy?
Sir, but when your diagnosis is indefinite, that means not.
What is the logic of a 12-core biopsy? Simple question, straight answer.
Sir, repeat, sir.
No. What is the logic of a 12-core biopsy? Originally, we were all doing 6 cores only, no? We were doing sextant only. Now they are doing 12 core. What is the logic?
We can pick up the low-grade lesions also, sir, like ISUP 1 and 2.
Oh man.
That you can pick up even with a 6-core biopsy.
That is not the reason.
That's not the
I
reason.
thought you know. You guys are doing all this right, left, and center. Sometimes, these simple questions, because you're just assuming, you're reading it and without understanding why something is being done. You have to question everything.
Sir, you are taking the biopsy from the all the regions. If you're involving the 12 core in your protocol, especially going to the apex as well as the lateral lobes and the base, all can be taken, sir, if you involve 12 cores.
So this is a map biopsy, right?
Yes, sir.
We know where we want the tissue from. We go there, take biopsies. What else?
And if there is any nodule felt, I can have an.
What was the main reason when they converted from 6 to 12?
The sensitivity.
What happens when you do more biopsies or more cores?
The sensitivity of the test increases, sir.
The sensitivity or the specificity?
The more chance of getting positive cores in the biopsy, sir. If you increase more number of
you are able to detect more malignancy. Whether that is significant or not, that's a different issue altogether.
Yes, sir.
But in patients who had an elevated PSA where the sextant biopsy was not conclusive, by increasing the biopsies, they found that they had an answer to some of these patients who had an elevated PSA, and they found it. Now, whether that translated directly to this thing, because the Gleason 3+3 also came into the picture after that.
Yes, sir.
And you do all these transitional zone biopsies and apical biopsies only if the patient now continues to have persistent PSA rise. Your other biopsies are negative. And now you're looking at whether, there's something else happening in the prostate and therefore you want to do that. So that's how things have evolved, You want to pick up more cancer. Whether that's being picked up because you have a robot and you want to whack it, or whether it's actual stuff, that's a different discussion altogether. We won't go into that. But the idea of doing more cores is that you will be able to get an answer to this man's PSA rise. Hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's why and then more importantly, when you do a 12-core biopsy, you are able to give an assessment as to what is likely to be the outcome. So especially if you're going to contemplate radical treatment in terms of radical radiotherapy or brachytherapy or even radical prostatectomy, you want to know as to what is going to be the outcome of such a major exercise on this patient.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So with a curative intent, you do all this.
Yes.
That's why I asked you whether you will do sextant biopsy or 12-core biopsy in this man. You said 4-core. I said, okay, excellent. Why? Why?
So because PSA is more than 200, the chance of getting positive is very high.
No.
It is the prostate.
The reason is that you are just wanting here to make a diagnosis so that you can plan treatment. These scores should give you sufficient information on the grading, etc. of the prostate.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And because you're not doing any curative treatment here, he's got your MRI will be done first before you do the biopsy. That's why it's very important to have a roadmap. You must have a map as to how far is the extent of the disease. You don't know that. And that's why your ultrasound comes out weaker as an investigation. You must have the MRI or some form of cross-sectional imaging which will tell you exactly where and how to go.
Yes.
And then you plan your biopsy. Suppose he's got disease all over, paraortic, he's not going to get cured. Why you want to do 6 years? Let's do some biopsy, get the answer and start treating. You understand how,
yes, sir,
how these things are actually planned. You must carefully understand the logic behind some of these things that are being practiced in the world today. Okay, you do a 4-core. Proceed, man. Shubham?
Yes, sir.
Why did you do cystoscopy, man?
Sir, actually patient was having lower urinary tract symptom with more of the widening symptom.
So what benefit did he get out of doing a cystoscopy?
As a routine protocol, sir.
No, Karnaka. No. This routine protocol is an invasive investigation. You could produce a stricture after a cystoscopy and have another baggage of problems.
You could precipitate bleeding from the prostate.
What other information do you think, Karnakar, they would have got from doing a cystoscopy? Shubham said routine.
No, the extent.
Please don't make cystoscopy a routine. Never.
They would have got information about the orifice at least, sir, extent.
No,
Anything
you don't
else?
have ultrasound so far, I don't know. It's the,
If it all done, that would have been informed.
why you want to put a stethoscope and see the life?
If the cystoscopy was done before any of these investigations, for whatever reason, then you will get some idea as to how the prostate is enlarged, not enlarged, and whether the trigone is actually infiltrated because your creatinine is 1.4. So,
Yes,
typical.
sir.
But as Prabhu said, you've got the investigation, and that's going to tell you all this. So, the cystoscopy probably in this patient is not necessary as a pre-op or pre-treatment protocol. He's got some widening symptoms. Agreed? He's got what? He's got a malignancy in the prostate. Okay.
Sir, uroflowmetry is okay, sir. Fairly okay for me, sir. No issue with the flow, sir. The maximum flow is 13 and the average of 6.9. His void volume is also 233, and both flow and voiding times were normal. So it is normal curve, sir. I can say it's normal curve.
What about the curve?
Sir, he had mild straining, but the curve looks okay, sir.
The curve is not okay.
The time to peak is...
No, he has achieved this by intermittent straining. You can see those intermittent peaks. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Even what looks like a mountain, if
Sir.
not like a mountain peak, represents abdominal straining. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
And there you see one peak right at the beginning, 2 peaks right at the beginning,
Yes.
which must have been to initiate the void.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So look at the curve. Don't simply look at the
Yes, sir.
number.
He had some straining, sir, and not saying normal. It has some straining.
That's right.
Yes.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. We have another meeting here at 9 o'clock. Shall
Oh,
we continue the same thing next week?
Okay,
No,
right.
We'll
minutes
do
on
one
PSMA.
thing. Next week, we'll just summarize what they did and what was found. And Karnakar will present on PET,
Yes, sir.
PSMA PET.
I will discuss around
Can I also
15
add
minutes.
that next week, let them say the treatment plan for this patient.
Yeah.
What was the investigation findings? Because we don't know what the cross-sectional imaging findings were. So start off with that,
Yeah, first
Don't
20
waste time.
minutes we'll
Start off
devote
with
to
that.
that.
and
Yep.
then do the PSMA presentation along with everything else.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
all. See you.